morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I have to admit, it's really nice to see somebody else from the United States here for a change, and to see two of my executive board members here, Georgia, who is an executive director, and Nadia from Russia, who's also an executive director of the Matrix Readers Theater Club, and that's where you are today. If I had your email, then you received the script that we're going to do today. And if I didn't have your email, put it in the chat box so that you can receive the updates and the scripts that we're going to be doing. Okay? And as you know, we're sort of doing Indigenous Peoples Month. And we're looking at the stories from the Indigenous peoples and sort of turning them into Readers Theaters. I put a challenge out there to my people. If you have a story from the Indigenous people that you'd like to put into a script for Readers Theater, do that, send it to us. We're going to look at them, and then at the beginning of October, we're going to choose the ones that we really enjoyed the most and put them up here for us to be able to share and read, okay? Now, the one that we did on Monday was written by Carol Montgomery, who is well known in what she does. She does Readers Theaters, 365 days Readers Theaters. I can't remember exactly the name of it. It's in the script. And she did one on the cricket song. And I took a story and did it on the lily root, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I'm going to share with you our script.
The lily root.
The lily root, that's right. Now, in our scripts, when you get them, you'll notice that there's an introduction to it with links where you can go and explore more stories. This particular story talks about Cat's Cradle. How many of you kids have ever played Cat's Cradle when you were young, or even now? You know what Cat's Cradle is? Nobody knows what Cat's Cradle is. Wow. I used to play this all the time when I was a child with my sisters. And so maybe we'll go and we'll look to see what Cat's Cradle looks like.
You have sisters?
I do. I have two sisters. Yeah.
So are you the oldest?
I am the middle child.
Oh.
So if you did get the script, go and try and see what it looks like and how to play it. And the other thing that I also was looking at was the use of nature by Indigenous people for healing. And in this case, they're talking about the lily root as being something which they grind up and then use as medicine to help make them healthier. So, and again, it's interesting to look at how the Indigenous peoples are using and living with the land in a symbiotic way together so that they're both being successful. And something with the COVID that makes us think maybe we should be looking more at how they're doing and what they're doing it, and ourselves get further back to the land. And this is the script. Now, we've got 9 parts, and as people were coming in, I actually wrote you down and put that little piece of paper here somewhere. Here it is. So I'm going to ask, as they came in, Aparna, will you play Emily, please?
I wanted to play Emily.
Who wanted to play Emily? Maybe that's who I should do it.
Me, Micah.
Who?
I was wanting to be the Emily character.
Okay, and who wants to be Emily? That's better way.
Hattie?
Hattie?
Yeah, Hattie. That's the name of an
Yeah.
elephant in Nepali.
Okay, so you're going to be Emily. Who's going to be Haiti?
Okay.
Who will be Haiti, her sister? Nobody chose that one? Okay, how about Aparna, you want to be Haiti?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Emily and Haiti, they're sisters. And mother is a very, 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 very short role. It's like one line. Who wants to do the mother?
I want to be mother.
Okay. All right. You're going to be mother. Got it? What about old John? He tells the story. Keshab, will you be old John? Keshab.
Okay, okay.
Yes? All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'll see that.
And Shamis is the wise grandfather. Who will be Shamis? Who will be Shamis?
Can I?
Okay. I'm going to just assign people then to that. How about Divya? Do you want to be Shamis? You just have to have a deep voice.
Yes, yes, I'll be Shamis.
Okay. And what about the grandson? We want somebody kind of lively.
We want to be grandson.
Who wants to be grandson?
Ahanan.
Okay. Grandson. You got it?
Ooh.
All right. And then we need narrator one. Narrator one.
I can be Mahita.
Mahita, good. You're going to have to remember because it's difficult to write this down this way. Narrator two will be who?
Prince Casey, I think, raised his hand or her hand.
Okay, you can see better than I can. Who is it?
Prince, would you like to read? Maybe they did it on purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Just second time meeting someone from another world. It's
Okay,
terrifying.
so you want, who was it that's going to read narrator two?
Prince Casey. I think Prince Casey is narrator two.
Okay.
Yeah,
Prince-
it's me.
Okay.
Okay, good. And who's going to be narrator three?
I want to become.
Swapnil? Swapnil? Okay. So I only want these 9 people to be unmuted. And everybody else will stay mute.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to go through it one more time. I'm going to call out the name of the character, and you're going to tell me if you're the reader. Only
Okay.
those. Ready? Emily.
All right. It's me.
Katie.
It's me.
And narrator 1.
It's me, Mahita.
Narrator 2.
It's me.
Mother.
Who's the mother?
Who's mother?
Who's the mother?
Who's going to take on mother?
I think it was one of those sisters.
Okay, well, we'll worry about that if nobody comes in. Okay. Oh, John?
Well, John is Keshav, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
yeah, I'm old John, yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
mother,
Yeah.
The only boy.
and mother is a partner or not?
Mother is a very short part, one line.
Shamis.
Shamis is,
Divya.
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 grandson is,
Be
Tracy.
Hannah.
and the narrator 3 is.
Swapnil.
It's
Good.
me, Swapnil.
Awesome.
Yes.
Everybody else is muted, including me, if I can figure out how to do this.
All right.
All right?
Tracy, have we worked out about the mother?
Well, I don't know, but I figured that if nobody reads that
I'm
line,
mother.
you okay? There you go. There we got our mother. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Lily Room, rewritten by me for Matrix Readers Theaters. Narrator 1.
You can do this. Whew.
Okay, let's start.
Narrator 1 starts the story.
Emily Muskrat was 10 years old. She lived with her family on a resort in Manitoba, north of Lake Winnipeg. Emily had a younger sister named Hattie, whom she often looked after.
My father works for a First Nations organization as a company health worker. He visits First Nations communities to help develop location health programs. Hattie.
Our mother is a teacher's aide at the school.
Narrator 2.
Emily took care of Hattie on Saturday afternoons when her parents went to town to shop for food.
Emily.
What after Hattie now, Emily? Don't let her wander away.
I'm going to teach Hattie how to play cat scandal.
And off her parents went to market.
Narrator 3.
Narrator
And
2.
off her parents went to market.
Emily pulled out a long piece of string tied together to make a circle.
Narrator 3.
Hattie watched as Emily weaved the tiny string between her two hands.
Show me how to do that.
Spread your hands and fingers.
Emily wrapped the string around Hattie's thumbs.
Move your fingers like this.
She showed Hattie how to wind the string between her fingers and hands.
Hattie.
That's what he wears when he plays and rides his bicycle.
Oh, you're up here, Hattie. This is not very easy, Hattie.
This is very easy.
Keep trying and you'll get it. Look, there's Peter.
Peter Crane rode his old bicycle past the girls.
See those old and worn out jeans he wears?
That's what he wears when he plays and rides his bicycle.
Neither girl spoke to Peter as he went by.
As the two sisters were playing, old John walked along the path by their home.
Look, old John, I made my first cat's cradle.
See, I told you you could do it.
Old John smiled and waved the girls over to him. Then he spoke softly to them.
I'm going to tell you a story. It is about the lily root.
He motioned to the two girls to sit beside him on the small bench.
One day, Shamis and his grandson were walking in the bush. They came upon a small river with a big pond.
Look, my grandson, what are lilies in the pond? You must get me a lily root.
Why does he want a lily root?
Lily roots are important to Sally's people. After Shamis dries the root, he will grind it into powder. It becomes medicine. He'll use it to keep healthy.
How did he get them out of the water?
His grandson removed his boots and socks. Then he rolled up his fan's legs and stepped in.
Grandfather, the mud is oozing between my toes.
Shamis stood on shore and pointed to the lily plant he wanted.
Stop there.
When the boy reached the lily plant, his pants and legs were wet and muddy.
Grandfather, this mug is smelly and dirty.
Yuck.
Ew, yuck.
He reached to the water quickly to pull out the root.
Be careful. You must not break the root when you pull it up. The medicine will be spoiled if it is taken from a broken root.
Grandfather, I got hold of the root and pulled hard, but nothing happened.
Use both hands. Be careful now.
When he yanked the second time, the boy's sword became wet with the muddy water.
Grandfather, nothing is happening.
Reach deeper with both hands.
Very slowly, the boy bent over the beautiful white lily flower. He reached with both hands for a better grip around the root.
You must reach deeper down with both hands.
But grandfather,
Go deeper.
He realized he would have to get all wet with the muddy water. It still smelled. He held his breath. Quickly, his face went underwater. He bent right over the plant with both hands deep around the stubborn root and pulled and pulled and
look, grandfather, I got lily root.
Very good, my grandson. Bring it here to me.
he walked back to show to Shamis. He was wet with head to toe. His skin was itchy. Mud covered his feet, his pants, and his shirt.
Did he get the lily?
It looked like, old John.
At one end of the plant was the beautiful white flower. At the other end was the muddy root.
Now I must clean the mud from the lily root and cut off the flower.
What did Shamis do with the flower?
Maybe he gave it to his grandson.
My, you are a sight.
I smell like muddy pond.
They both laughed. Then Shamis held the lily root very gently.
This will make me feel strong and healthy. The root is more important than the flower. Many people are only in the pretty flower. Remember, my grandson, the lily root.
Hattie and Emily sat quietly next to old John.
Now the story was over and old John stood up.
You be good now.
Thank you, old John.
You old John. Good night. And Emily and Hayati walked to their house with the string. They too would remember the lily root.
Wow, nice job. Wow.
Thanks.
Did you see?
You did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
As you got tuned into the part that you were reading, how much more smoothly it became? How much more smoothly? You know what I'd like to do is actually go right back to the story with the same people and read it again now and see. Now that you really know the parts, how smoothly it is. And I was also beginning to hear, as you got into the part, expression in your reading, you know, and you were beginning to get into the part. So let's see if you're going to carry that through. And the rest of us are going to listen to it to the second time to be able to then talk about the changes and the improvements in the reading. And then we'll talk about the story. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, so you all remember your same parts. We're going to do the same parts. And I'm going to pull it back up again as soon as I find you all. Okay, here we go. And we're listening for changes to see how you feel and what your reading is now that you've been introduced to it. Okay? So
You should read it again.
we're going to read it again with the same people are going to do it again, and we're going to sit back and just listen to whether or not it flows more easily, if there's more expression, people getting into the parts now. Okay?
Okay.
Narrator 1.
The lily root. Emily Muskrat was 10 years old. She lived with her family on a reserve in Manitoba north of Lake Winnipeg. Emily had a younger sister named Hattie, whom she often looked after.
My father works for First Nations Origins at a company. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm kind of. My father works for a First Nations organizer as a company health worker. He visits First Nations communities to help develop local health programs.
Our mother is a teacher's aide at the school.
Emily took care of Hayati on Saturday afternoons when her parents went to the town to shop for food. Mother.
Watch off to Hattie now, Emily. Don't let her wander away.
I'm going to teach Hattie how to play cat's candle.
Cradle.
And
Cradle.
all of her parents went to market.
Emily pulled out a long piece of string tied together to make a circle.
Hattie watched as Emily weaved the tiny string between her two hands.
Show me how to do that.
By your hands and fingers.
Emily wrapped the string around Hayati's thumbs.
Move your fingers like this.
She showed Hattie how to wind the string between her fingers and hands.
This is not very easy.
Keep trying and you'll get it. Look, there's Peter.
Peter Crane rode his old bicycle past the girls.
See those old and worn out jeans he wears?
That's what he wears when he plays and rides his bicycle.
Neither girl spoke to Peter as he went by.
As the two sisters were playing, old John walked along the path by their home.
Look, old John, I made my first cat's cradle.
See? I told you you could do it.
Old John smiled and waved the girls over to him. Then he spoke softly to them.
I'm going to tell you a story. It is about the lily root.
He motioned to the two girls to sit beside him on the small bench.
One day, Shamis and his grandson were walking in the bush. They came upon a small river with a big pond.
Look, my grandson, what are lilies in the pond? You must get me a lily root.
Why does she want the lily root?
Lily roots were important to Sally's people. After Shamis dries the root. He will grind it into powder. It becomes medicine. He'll use it to keep healthy.
How did he get them out of the water?
His grandson removed his boots and socks. Then he rolled up his pant legs and stepped in.
Grandfather, the mud is oozing between my toes.
Shamis stood on shore and pointed to the lily plant he wanted.
Stop! There!
When the boy raised the lily plant, his pants and legs were wet and muddy.
Grandfather, this mug is very smelly and dirty.
Ew, yuck.
He reached into the water quickly to pull out the root.
Be careful. You must not break the root when you pull it up. The medicine will be spoiled if it is taken from a broken root.
Grandson?
Grandfather, I got hold of the root and pulled hard, but nothing happened.
Use both hands. Be careful now.
When he yanked the second time, the boy's shot became wet with the muddy water.
Grandfather, nothing is happening.
Reach deeper with both hands.
Very slowly, the boy bent over the beautiful white lily flower. He reached with both hands for a better grip around the root.
You must reach deeper down with both hands.
But grandfather,
Go deeper.
He realized he would have to get all wet with muddy water. It still smelled. He held his breath. Quickly, his face went underwater. He bent right over the plant with both hands deep around the stubborn root and pulled and pulled and...
look, grandfather, got the lily root.
Very good, my grandson. Bring it here to me.
He walked back to the shore to Shamis. He was wet with head to toe. His skin was itchy. Mud covered his feet, his pants, and his shorts.
Did he get the lily?
What did it look like, old John?
At one end of the plant was the beautiful white flower. At the other end was the muddy root.
Now I must clean the mud from the lily root and cut off the flower.
What did Shamis do with the flower?
Maybe he gave it to his grandson.
My, you are a sight.
Grandson.
I smell like muddy pond.
They both laughed. Then Shamis held the lily root very gently.
This will make me feel strong and healthy. The root is more important than the flower. Many people are interested only in the pretty flower. Remember, my grandson, the lily root.
Hayati and Emily sat quietly next to old John.
Now the story was over, and old John stood up.
You be good now.
Thank you, old John.
Thanks, old John. Good night.
And Emily and Hayati walked to their house with their strings. They too would remember the lily root.
Ah, very nice. Now, those that read, going to be quiet, because those that didn't read are going to just talk a little bit about, did you hear a difference in the second reading from the first reading? And what were those differences and what did they show you about the readers? What did you learn about those that were reading it from the first reading to the second reading? Who'd like to share? Sandy, how about, this is your first time. How about you sharing? You have to unmute.
They were getting more familiar with it, and it was becoming more a story rather than just, you know, the lines and finding the lines. And yeah, it was much better the second time, I think.
What did you think? Did you feel like there began to become an interaction maybe between Shamis and grandson and Hattie and Emily, that they were?
Yes, I did. I did,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was
Who else wants to chime in about their observations from first to second reading? Or even those that read. Did you feel?
Even though I was reading, I also want to share something.
What would you like to say? Nobody wants to say anything?
Can I say something?
I'm asking. So of course you may. Yes, Prince.
I saw difference between first and second because of their expressions and their moments. They were pretty good the second time.
Okay. Yes. Right.
That was
Even though I wasn't, even though I was like reading, can I also share something?
Please
Yeah,
do.
you can.
So in the first time, I was kind of nervous that I would mess up all of a sudden, but the first time actually showed me how good I was, and well, the second time actually I got into the story more than the first one, since I kind of practiced, and well, it was very fun actually. And Deva was very good at reading. Also, who was played at the grand old
John?
Old John again? He was very good.
You said?
Yeah, he was.
Everyone did very good at the second time. Yeah, I tried my best.
Well, and that's a nice thing also in the Readers Theater Club, is that it's okay to make a mistake. Okay, it's all right to make a mistake. And we're going to actually go back over a couple of words just to clear them up in a minute. But the first thing when you come into an MRT is mainly you just want to listen and see what it looks like. Once you get so that you understand that, then you're ready to try it out, okay? And once you get so that you're trying it out and you realize, oh, I made a mistake and nobody jumped on me. Oh, wow, this is okay. Or I just didn't understand this word and should I ask about it, or will everybody get, no. This is an environment that is a learning environment for us to share and teach and work with each other. And we aren't here to criticize you about, oh my goodness, you said something wrong or that's the wrong word, because
failure is the path to success.
Yeah, it's really about what you just said. But I felt more comfortable, and I got, you know, and I felt better about doing it. I was more motivated. However, yes. So I also, while you guys were reading, you know what I did? I put together a piece of string.
What?
Whoa.
Can you see the string?
Whoa, what is that?
The piece
What's
of
it
string.
called?
String. It's string.
Ooh.
It's actually, I have yarn here.
No, I meant, what are you doing with it?
What do you think I can do with this piece of string?
That's how you tie things together.
Making of it.
Yes. I took and I tied it in this.
We put it in a piece of paper and just roll it up.
Ah, but watch what I do.
Yeah.
How did you
spider wave?
And if I had somebody here to play with me, they would take this and they'd make a whole nother shape. And actually in my directions, it does show you how you can do it alone, but it really is more fun to do it together.
So
you have a sister.
That's called the cat strings?
This is a cat's cradle, okay? A piece of string, see how big it is?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put it behind my hands this way. Okay, now I'm going to go around and come through the hole this way. So I have it. See, now I have a piece of string going across my palm here.
Yeah.
Not here yet though, because now I have to
Yeah.
go around and in the hole this way. Now I have on both.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'm gonna take my middle finger and go over and pick up this string here.
Wow.
And then I'm gonna go middle finger and pick up this string here. And now I have cat's ear.
Whoa.
Now, you wanna learn how to do this? It's in the introduction of the script. There's a video there that shows you how to do it. It shows you that I didn't even know that you can, you know, one is called candles, one is, I mean, that there's names for the different shapes that you can make. And if you're good, you can go and play cat's cradle with a friend for hours.
Make different shapes.
Because you make different shapes. So go and if you have the script, look at the introduction. Because a lot of times there's activities and things for you to be able to check out and do. Cat's cradle. Right. Okay. Also, when you are looking at the script that you have, and I'm going to go back to the script just to share with you. Okay. Right, let's look at, you see the word here, when he yanked the second time, when he yanked, okay? That was a hard word for to read, yank. But if you are not sure about the word, you can go and check out, whoopsie, how it's pronounced and what it means.
Yank.
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 Yank. Yank and then yank.
What's the?
Okay. So what I'm just trying to say is, if you have the opportunity to have the script beforehand, these words that are underlined actually help you to say what that word is and what it means. Here is
muck.
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 Slimy dirt or filth. Muck.
Slimy dirt or ooh. Anyone has played with slime?
So explore. What does ooze mean? It even sounds like ooze. What does that mean?
Ooze meaning, doesn't it mean like kind of squishy and ooze, you know what I mean? Squishy and slimy.
Yeah.
Is it that circumstances?
That's right. And I, you know, when I was reading that and thinking about it, I was remembering when I was in Nepal and they were going and planting the rice, so that they had already gone and was all flooded, and they were.
Wait, you came to Nepal?
And they were in long lines. The women were in long lines planting the rice plants in that oozy, muddy water. Yeah. So that's what that made me think of, is when they were planting the rice. And this takes you to the people, Salish people. Okay, so there's a couple of words too I wanted to just check with you on. This word here is not company, it's community.
Community.
Community, yes.
Community.
For a First
Community.
Nation organization, as a community health worker, community, good.
A group of people.
And
Sorry, I'm not that good at English.
I'm not. Okay, back to. Who just said, sorry, I'm not good at English? Who just said that?
That's me.
Naughty.
I'm not that good at English. I just
naughty.
I'm good at English, but the words I've never actually said is kind of hard. That's why I'm here.
Okay, you see, because this is not an environment where you need to ever apologize for pronouncing a word wrong or for skipping a line or any of that. Why? Because we're here to share and learn. We're not here to criticize. Okay?
Yeah.
So you tried it. You did it. You did well. Okay. And now when you read that word again and you see it again, what is it that you're going to read? What word? What is this word?
Community.
Community.
There you go. Now you got it, and it's yours.
There you
And
go.
right down here. It's not cat's candle. It's cat's cradle. Cradle.
Cradle.
Cradle.
Cradle?
Yes, cat's cradle.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this looks like a candle, to be honest.
Okay, let's look at the word candle.
This is too
Candle.
candle.
I don't know how you do that.
C-R-A-D-L-E. Cradle.
It's candle is C-A-N-D-L-E. C-A-N-D-L-E. But you've got the C-R. Cradle. Cradle.
Cradle.
Cradle.
Okay.
Cradle.
I've actually never played that game, to be honest. Never
Well,
even heard of it.
now I'm gonna challenge you guys again in a minute. And there was one other word here where Shamis will don't break the root, go deeper. Okay.
Thomas.
Shamis.
Where's
Shamis is going to grind. I can't find the word though now. He's going to grind it into powder. Okay, we'll make some medicine. Well, sorry.
Maybe it's at the bottom.
R-I-N-D, beautiful white flowers, dripped with roots. Okay, why does he make them?
I think old John told them about the grinding.
Yeah, old John.
Yeah.
John was the one that says they grind it.
Yeah, a little bit up.
But I can't find it right off. That's okay. That's all right. So now let's look for a minute at the story itself. Did you enjoy the story? Did you like it?
Very.
What did you like about it? And what do you want to share about the story?
It felt like a real story, not like that scripted ones, you know?
It felt like a real, did you feel like you were kind of there watching and you could see the people talking and sitting?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like I'm seeing a video of stories, you know?
Okay. So it made it sort of make it live in your head. Is that it?
Yeah.
Nice. What
The
else?
thing I like about the story most is like how there was like more. There was like it was like we were like digging into it more, like, you know what I mean? Like
we were like the
almost like
yeah, I feel
almost like how we like watch, but we are there.
Oh.
The voices matched very well with the story.
Okay.
Especially the old John's. That voice matched really nicely.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? I bet you.
Also with the grandson and the
After
grandfather.
you've been in here for a bit, you could probably play old John, even though old John is supposed to be an elderly man. As you get to be more familiar with acting and characters and reading it, you'll become a very old man too.
all right.
What's interesting with the Reader's Theater is you don't have your body really and everything to be able to express what you're doing. You only have your voice and how you're interpreting it. And what's great fun is sometimes we actually will have people who you physically begin to get into that character and feel it, whether it's a person or it's a cat. Whatever, it's feeling it from here and bringing it out here. Now we know you're really beginning to understand the language. Right?
Yeah.
The feeling was fun and more exciting
fun and exciting.
And I think
It
the
was
most
very impressive for how I've been seeing like it was very impressive how others are like very intelligent even though they're not from like they don't speak English much. You know, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
and what I like the most is that there's a story inside story. That's what I like most.
Tell me what you mean by there was a story in the story.
I mean, you know, there's a story. Which story was told by some people, another people. So overall, there was another story. You know, like story inside a story, another story was told. So you know that was amazing.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
And
Those are
the thing is, what I found a lack, which is while we were reading, so it was not possible to extract the whole story at the same time, because the persons who were listening, it was easy for them to understand it, but while we were reading, we had different characters, so we had to concentrate on our part. So it was
Our
not really
character.
possible for us to understand the whole story fully. So if we get the chance to listen it, then we might be able to understand it at the fullest.
More
you know?
deeper.
Yeah.
More deeply.
But what I understood that there was a story inside a story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was
that's
very
actually
exciting.
very true.
Sandy, what are you thinking here?
No, what I was thinking, I at first I didn't know what she was saying, but when you are just reading it for the first or second time and remembering which part is yours, you don't necessarily hear the story.
Yeah.
But if you hear the story and you become more familiar with it, or say somebody else was to read the story to you, then you wouldn't have to worry about which part you were. I think that's what she meant about a story within the story. Because when you first get the lines, you're concerned about who is your, where are your lines and who,
Yeah.
and you
My
say
turn.
them, but they don't mean
I'm
anything.
sorry, I don't know who's sharing the screen, but yeah.
No. Is that what you meant?
Was
I
me
think
sorry.
that
I
was-
really wanted to know how to share screens.
Oh, okay. I think
Since it was my
there was a story,
time.
Oh,
overall story, and then
Yeah.
within the overall story, old John was telling the story as well.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we
it
were
was-
reading a story, but in the story there was another story. That was very interesting, actually. Kind of trippy.
kind of
Yeah.
trippy.
And
Yeah, it is very trippy.
Well,
yeah.
we like
And
to
Since
see-
we're
like to see
saying
what-
a story, and then there's another story, and well, we're like digging a hole over and over again, almost like that.
yeah,
like to
all
see what
the lines were easy. All the lines were easy, but I think if we explain the story more deeply, then we can we can come up with depth.
And that's why I send the scripts out to you too. First of all, so that people have the chance to look at it beforehand. But second of all, you have the script now. Do you have people around you in school or in college that you could say, hey, let's read this together? See, 'cause
Yeah.
you can share it with others. And
Like,
Yeah.
you can go and see how
okay,
it
do
makes
want
Hands
to
Cradle
or
and
the
then and share and teach that to them as well, right? Would you like to see what the original story looks like that this was written from?
Actually,
Yeah.
since we played it again 2 times, I'm not really sure.
Okay, no, I'm not.
But I mean,
We're not going to read the story. I'm going to share the story back with you again for a minute.
okay.
And just look to see what the original story looked like, I hope.
Wait. Why does this look?
Okay, this is one of the links that you have that I gave you. And here are different stories that are from Indigenous Peoples stories. And I chose to do Lily Root. I might do one of these other ones for an upcoming one. And this is what it looked like This is the story.
Wait, Albert, are you leaving already?
This is the story that I took and wrote the script from. So you can see that it's just a story. There aren't parts to it. There are no parts here.
There are. Yeah.
See, just a little bit here, but not really.
There are some parts.
A little bit. But you see what I did was I ended up giving them characters and writing it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you thought really well.
No,
You thought of
why am I sharing this with you? Because I want you guys to try the same thing. And how did I do it? I copied this whole thing, and then I
You
put it.
copied it? I mean, I'm not judging or anything, but you copied it?
I copied
From
it.
who? From who?
It must have taken a lot of time.
No.
You know?
It does take
I
a lot.
watched.
In other words, I copied that
didn't?
story and put it on a document that I could then take and put into a script to write.
Oh.
So the first thing I did was try to say, well, then who are the main characters?
Story.
Well, there's old John, and
Emily?
there's Hattie, and there's Emily, and there's Shamis, and there's a but they didn't actually have any speaking.
Very nice.
Now I have to try and get them to speak, and I have to get them to interact. Okay, so it's really a piece by piece. You do a little bit, and you go back, and you read it, and you say, wait a minute, I can get grandson to be talking in here, to grandfather, and get them to interact. I can get Hattie and Emily to interact as sisters, okay, because they're not in the story. But as you read it, you can start to hear. You can start to see them playing in the village, the cat's cradle game, and their mom and dad saying, we're going shopping. And then you start putting that into dialogue. So you're taking a straight story and you're developing it into a dialogue where people can interact. And that's basically what I did. Why am I sharing that with you? Is because I want you guys to try and take a story and turn it into dialogue and script. The younger kids, just take a little short thing and see if you can get to talk and get interaction going back and forth. For the older college kids and teachers, give it a try. Again, we're looking for Indigenous Peoples stories this month. That's what we're looking to flip, okay?
Okay.
Any questions? And if you're new, make sure that we have your email address.
Yeah,
right?
I'm new. So I'm doing it.
You make
in the
sure
chat.
that you have left your email address, and you will get.
He has.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I felt that we should also be discussing that what are we learning from the story.
Yes.
There's a lot of significance about the boy who came, the way he was dressed, and the fact that he was ignored by Emily and Hattie. And then in the end, there's a connection we have to find over there. And I that they ignored him, they did not talk with him because he was dirty and he was dressed in rags, kind of a thing. And later, I think old John probably saw all that, and that's why he decided to tell them the story. That okay, there's a significance over there, that why did otherwise Peter didn't have any other role. He just comes and they ignore them and then he leaves. So why is Peter there in the story? He doesn't have any role, no dialogue, even nothing. There's no interaction. But that's what they're trying to show, that that we should not we look at somebody, we try to judge them as we would never need them, but then you never know what's hidden. So something, I think there's a connection over there which should be explored, that just because whenever everybody would just look at the pretty flower of the lily root, But the major thing, like the more beneficial thing, is inside in the mucky, what, like in the dirty water, which would never want to enter. So there is that connection between the Peter and the lily root connection, which they are trying to show through the story.
That's very interesting, Divya. A very interesting comment.
Mhm.
And I also feel that there should
You
be a
know what I was thinking? I was thinking, well, of course the girls weren't paying attention to a boy writing, and I was thinking it was more that kind of thing. The
no, but
sisters,
there has to be, see, it's not a very long story that they will just put in meaningless things. So
yeah,
I think there's like a deep connection over there, and I would love to have a sequel, like a short sequel. I feel that the story is incomplete. It's left too much for us to believe and to discuss and to let our minds actually wander as to what is the purpose of old John. He's like a wise man in the story. Why is he telling the story to the girls? So there's a reason behind it. It's not just normally, especially when we are looking at these indigenous stories, they generally have a lot of meaning behind. I think like nowadays the fiction and nowadays the kind of work or the arts we are getting is more for entertainment. But when we look at those kind of stories, they always have more meaning and more moral behind them, more to learn from them. So I think that is the thing, that's what they're talking about, the lily root. Everything is has a meaning. Why did he have to work so hard to get it out? Why wasn't like the flower? He could have gone and just probably like plugged it and he would have got it. So that's how beauty is. It's there, it will attract you, but it's very short-lived. Like you just pluck it out, it'll stay with you for some time and then it'll go. But then when you pull out the root, the kind of effort you have to do it for something hidden, but it is the thing that is going to give you strength. So the troubles in our life gives us strength. They make us what we are today. So it's I don't know, it's probably very very deep, but that's how I read the script and
see,
I
that's
was like,
what's so great. That's what's so great.
I,
Beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
I read the script and I found it beautiful. I found the story so amazing. I really loved it. It was such a beautiful choice of a story. I don't know, I just hit me the very first time that when I read the story, it's like, oh my God, it has so much meaning behind it.